Okay, Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, and a very good evening. First of all, the organizing committee, welcome Mr. C.K. Tan, the advisory for management section, the School of Distance Education on the open industrial talk. Heartfelt thank you from us to the school's dean, Associate Professor Dr. Zulnadi Yaakob, all the school's deputy deans, and the chairperson and faculty of management section, and also to all the attendees. Ladies and gentlemen, you are warmly welcome to the night seminar by Industrial Community Advisory Panel, ICAP, which organized by the management section, School of Distance Education. The seminar's title is Key Execution Factors, KEF, and Dominant Influence Factors, DIF, the keys to accelerate the progression of career path. Please allow me to read the synopsis for tonight's seminar. Peter Principle says there is always a tendency in most organizational hierarchies, such as that of a corporation, is for every employee to rise in the hierarchy through promotion until they reach their respective level of incompetence. The speaker will share the importance of adaptive and accommodative response to the prevailing challenges and rising demands and expectation of the employers in the context of competency, which is the ability of knowledge and qualification that mesh with the job, and deliverability, the ability to enable the successful execution to fulfill and complete the entrustment by adopting the KEFs and DIFs. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to have Mr. Tan from Nation Gate Solution Malaysia Sdn Bhd. Please allow me to introduce our tonight's seminar speaker, Mr. Tan. Mr. Tan Ching Kong, a Penang-born Malaysian, age 67, after graduating from Chung Ling High School, Penang in 1973, CK further studied in National Cheung Kong University in Taiwan, awarded with a BSc in Electrical and Electronic Engineering in 1979. CK has over 40 years of direct experience in various industries, holding senior leadership position, especially in the dominant of semiconductor assembly and test, turnkey electronic services manufacturing, EMS, and contract manufacturing, CM. CK has a strong technopreneurship and diverse experiential knowledge in managing complexity in product, process, people, and business. Mr. Tan had been and currently holding various positions, namely Engineering Manager Intel, Founding General Manager Globetronics Technology, Founder and MD MQuest, Founding GM Global Edu Management, China, Senior Operation Manager Freescale Semiconductor, Founding and MD Alliance Nation Solution, Vice President Nation Gate Solution Malaysia Sdn Bhd. Ladies and gentlemen, we have two sessions in a 2-hour seminar with Mr. Tan until 10:30 tonight. First session, we will have topic number 1, how pastel factors, which is political, economic, social, technology, environmental, and legal, affecting the nation relative competitiveness, hence the employability in the world market. Then the contemporary shift of working style in the work-life balance. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 10 minutes break at 9:25, followed by second session until 10:15. We have topic 2, which is the essence of Peter Principle, key execution factors, KEF, dominant influence factors, DIF, a rising expectation and employees' competency and deliverability. Finally, how to be a man leader, a hybrid between leader and manager. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have Q&A session with Mr. Tan after the talk, roughly between 10:15 to 10:30. Okay, now without further ado, we welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Tan. Thank you. Mr. Tan, please.
Okay, can everybody hear me? There's not something wrong with my speaker, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you can hear me, is that right? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let me share my slide. How should I share my slide? Can everybody see it?
No.
Can everybody see the slide?
Not yet,
Huh?
not yet.
Not yet.
No.
So what should I do? I think I click the. I'm not so used to web-based. Wait, just give me a minute. I have to click share, is that right?
Yes.
And then I click the slide. Can you see?
No.
No? No? Okay, advise me, what shall I do now? I have put
You
the
can
slide
click share and then screen 1.
screen 1. No, I click share, now I see all the slide. I can see my slide here. So what shall I do? I click the slides, all right?
Once you select click on the share, you have to click on which windows do you want to open, or screen 1. You have to click on that screen 1, then only you click on this and share. You click share again.
I click on that screen. Yeah, you're right. Now, then I share again, is that right?
Yep.
But it doesn't work. I don't know why. Let me try one more. Just give me a minute. Okay. Now I open the screen in front of me is with many slides. So I have to choose the slide that I'm going to present, is that right?
Yes.
Then I click on that slide, is that right?
Yes. And
And
then
there's a line, there's an outline. So meaning it's already been chosen and picked.
Yeah.
Then after that, I just
click
click
on the
share.
the share button with the black color one. You know.
Yeah.
You
But it's not black. It's still appear to be the white background. I don't know why.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, we can see it now.
Okay, we can see
Now
now.
can see now.
Yes.
Okay, not too bad. Okay, good. So everybody can see the slide moving?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, special thanks to Dr. Hasmin just now make the introduction. So today I will spend about 2 hours to give you 2 sessions. The topics chosen is more related to the career progression or the career advancement. So what are the important key factors that enable the enabling factors that enable whoever now currently on job and in a different hierarchical level and want to make a progression, okay, a promotion along the career path. So in my personal opinion, basing on my experience is my career path, then I did conclude, not really conclude, I mean, I did put up, which I believe 8 traits of what I call as the key success factor. Sorry, it's not a success factor, it's a key execution factor, and also the dominant influence factor of career advancement. Okay, now before I go into the detail of that, which I'll explain the each factors with in a more comprehensive manner, I would like to bring you to a bigger environment first. Okay, also you know, whatever your working space, maybe just your office, but outside your office, your department. Outside your department is your factory. So there are actually already 3 layers. Outside your factory is the industry. Outside the industry is a state. Outside the state is a country. Outside the country is the world. You can imagine. There are so many different layers. And all the outer layer, whatever the outer layer, that can influence the next inner layer. Okay? That is not you yourself, but it's more on the environmental. So now I will share with you on the Malaysian nation relative competitiveness. Okay, and the reason why I share this is because I believe now I'm talking to all of you are Malaysian, or at least most of you, so you must know the uh, the working environment that you are in, whether compared to the outside world, whether we are relatively competitive or not. That's important. Okay, without that, I mean, you can imagine the employment rate or whatever, especially the new graduate. Okay, they're talking about graduate employability will be definitely affected. So that would take the first maybe 45 minutes. Then we have a simple break. Now, then the second session, I will, whatever I said about that factors, then I will give some specific example to substantiate that factor so that you can have a better understanding. Then the last session, we leave it to Q&A. Okay, first and foremost, I would like to introduce this, what we call the RCEP or called RCEP, stand for Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Now, this is a world biggest free trade zone, meaning in this particular area, okay, there are 15 countries, of which our ASEAN or Southeast Asia, which is 10 countries, like example, Malaysia, Singapore, Myanmar, Thailand, Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, Indonesia, there are 10 countries. We call it ASEAN, together with another 5 countries, which is China, Japan, Korea, and Australia, New Zealand. So altogether, we have 15 countries. They form alliances. They form a consortium. Then they agreed to have all the free trade. So you can imagine now, with this organization, then all the inter-country, they can trade with each other totally with free tax, or even, of course, not at the moment, but majority of them already implemented and has been ratified. Okay, so you can imagine because of that, then this is a huge market. Now, in terms of population, he make up 30% of the world population. And in terms of from the economic aspect, in terms of GDP, he also make up the world 30% GDP. So you can imagine how big is this a free trade area. So understandably, that for sure that will be a opportunity. There will be a threat, and we as a Malaysia, as part of the member country where we are, whether we are more beneficiary or we actually is more threat to us. So that I would say we Malaysia, I'll come to the next slide, but I'll give you a conclusion first. We Malaysia actually benefited from being a member of this RCEP. I'll come to that later. There's another organization called CPTPP, stand for Comprehensive Partnership, Trans-Pacific Partnership. Okay, this is again is another alliance. Is by another 11 countries, of which they are the center part. All these countries, Malaysia is one of them also, that also been a member. So actually Malaysia is involved in two, the world biggest free trade organization, RCEP and CPTPP. Yeah. So again, with the arising threat and opportunity, then as far as Malaysia is concerned, in terms of our current nation relative competitiveness compared to example Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and whatsoever, in terms of manufacturing and overall I would say economy, I think we are in a very strong position to, in short, the takeaway message is Malaysia will be benefited in this enlarged marketplace. Yeah, this is a takeaway message. Okay, this one I want to share. This is a slide that I take from a Talent Corp. That Malaysia currently we have 33 million in population. Yeah, and we are actually still considered a young country. Average age, okay, for our Malaysian is about 29.2 actually. And then we are not really that age country yet. We are currently is about 6 or 7% with population above 60 years old. So we are still considered as relatively a young country. That's good. Young country mean with a lot of energetic young people. Okay, yeah. Now this is something like a future workforce that been selected or been considered as a top 10 skill in 2025 by the World Organization. Yeah. Now there are 10 skill that will be sought after. Now in my personal opinion, I think these 5 stand out. First thing is, in order to cope with the next coming challenges, okay, as a more employable employee, whatever, you need to equip yourself with more skill like in active learning, like the complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, and also you have to be, this is something like resilient, and you must be good enough to withstand all the work pressure. So these are the new expectation of a new generation of the employed workers in the workplace. Now, this again for graduate, maybe to your interest, this is a number of public university, private university in Malaysia. And every year there's about 300,000 graduate annually, okay? Now, they make a study in terms of the graduate employability. 1 in every 5 are unemployed, okay? So that is actually up to 2021, I believe, 2020 or 2021. Okay, so it's still quite updated. So that give you a rough idea that out of every 5 graduate, 4 of them get employed, the other 1 is unemployed. Okay, I do not know what is that 1 get unemployed, but I can be quite assured to say that the 4 of the 5 get employed are definitely they're working more in the industry or service or whatever. Yeah. So not too bad, I would say. If you look at by comparison, I think this statistic is still not too bad. So in short, Malaysia still have a good employment opportunity. That is the conclusion. Yeah. Okay, now the topics of today is more to share with you is a career advancement and progression over here. Okay. Now, what is okay? As far as language is concerned, maybe you take career advancement and career progression is interchangeable. Yeah, they have similarity for sure. They have overlap, but they also have different differences between them. Now, what is career advancement? Simply put, I mean, for you, it's something like whatever currently your position is, and you get promoted to the next level of promotion. Then you have a different title. You have a pay raise, whatever. This is basically, we can say it is more as a characteristic of career advancement. So it's a vertical, meaning you go upward, for sure, I hope that you don't go downward, not likely this way, okay? Go upward. How about career progression? Career progression is more horizontal, meaning you're still holding the same position, same title, same pay, but you have been assigned to have a different area for different charter or different job. Okay, so to enlarge your horizon, to enlarge the scope of work, but this is what we call progression. So it's a little bit of horizontal. So there's a little bit different between career advancement and career progression. But again, before you get promoted to the next level, definitely you are competing with your peers at that same level. Okay, and the reason, as you know, in an organization pyramid, whatever the higher you go, the narrow the path will be. That's understandable, as you know, it is a pyramid. So meaning, for you to be chosen to be promoted, definitely there must be a reason behind that, a justification. So one of the things is before you can get advancement, definitely you need to progress. You need to put up, you need to have a more exposure to prove yourself, to be seen and to be felt. That's very important. Yeah. So these are few things. Now let's talk about the key execution factors. The keyword here is execution. Execution means you get something done. Okay. And I would like to say, not only just to get something done or to get the job done, you have to get the job well done. The keyword here is well. Yeah, not just get it done. And meaning at any one time, you're at any position, you will be given a charter or a task or a mission or a project to complete, and you are the project lead, meaning you are the owner. You own that project from head to tail, and because you are entrusted. Okay, so what is that bottom line? Bottom line meaning you have to do it effectively and efficiently. I said the difference. Effectively meaning you have to meet the objective of this assignment, whatever the assignment is. Okay, and you have to meet it within the time frame, and you have to meet it within the given resources that given to you. Okay, so you have to make use of all these things, and then at the end you deliver the ultimate outcome. So meaning by doing so, if you do it successfully, meaning you are executing it successfully. So you have a very high key execution factor. Okay, so so what are we have four of them, which is of course there are more, but to me I just select these four which I believe is relatively more prominent. Now then how about the other one is a dominant influence factor, in short I call it DIF. Okay, this is again influence. The keyword here is influence. The moment you by definition influence means you have to influence someone to achieve what you have in mind. Okay, so then you need to have these four traits. Okay, four aspect of ability to in order to do that. Let me come to this first. The key execution factors. So it's more on your own. Okay. Now the first one is definitely one of the ability is the competency and the deliverability. What is that? I will come to that later actually. Basically what it said is you have to, as a person, in order for you to execute, because you are entrusted to execute and you own that execution, then you first thing, you need to be competent. Competent means what? You definitely, your knowledge or your awareness or your understanding of that nature of the task must be very holistic and complete. Okay, and you have the ability, you have the competence. Just like if you want to do something, a project, you want to complete a task. Let's say you need to supervise a group of people whatsoever. Then you must have a basic supervisory skill, something like that. That's called competent. Or you want to complete, let's say, a report of a financial report by when and when. Then definitely you need to have certain accounting kind of knowledge. So that is what I call you need to have your domain knowledge. At the same time, you need to understand what is the total requirement of this project. Yeah, so you must be well versed with a holistic, big picture. What is deliverability? Deliverability is different with competent. You may be competent, but you may not be able to deliver things as what been expected, either due to other factor, either due to attitude, either due to whatever factors. That is nothing to do with how smart you are or how knowledgeable you are. It's something make you at the end of the day that you cannot deliver the thing effectively. Okay, I'll come to that later. Okay. Now the second one is what I call the sharp situational chaos acumen. Okay, the keyword here is situational, meaning it's very dynamic, it's very situational, it's not a static situation. Okay, it's a dynamic situation and it's a chaos. Okay, as you know, today we are dealing with all the chaotic situation, and you must be very sharp. Acumen means sharpness. Yeah, so we need someone equipped with a MacGyver. Maybe the young people may not heard about it, but the older people know. That was a TV series 50 years ago or 40 years ago. I also forgotten. You know, there's a series called MacGyver. It's basically is a guy that he always can, whenever he's inside a difficult situation, then he have to solve the situation, he will solve the problem, but during that time he do not have a proper tool or proper solution, but he have to solve it. So he will make good at what he can have at that particular moment and use the creativity to form something and to get the problem solved. Okay, so it's more a little bit like a problem solving. Yeah, if you don't know what is MacGyver, just Google it. Then it tell you, because this is just a acronym. Yeah, and also as a person that who can be entrusted to fulfill a good execution, he have to build the execution into strategy, meaning not just a plan. I mean, the action plan, the Gantt chart, then you do a project management according to that. At the same time, you need to know by having that a strategy, it is being efficiently effective. Now, let me explain the word between efficiency and effectiveness. They sound alike again, language-wise they can be interchangeable, but definition-wise they have differences. Okay, what is effective? Effective means whatever the objective you set, then you achieve it, then meaning is effective. Example, I just give an example. Now, if I want to go to Penang Airport by, now is what time? Now is 8 something. Okay, let's say by 10, by 11 o'clock tonight, I have to reach Penang Airport. A simple objective like this. Okay, so long as by 11 o'clock I can be present at Penang Airport, in terms of effectiveness, I'm effective already because I hit what the objective asked me to do. Okay, this is called effectiveness. Now, secondly, what is efficient? Now, I can have many ways to go. I can take a bicycle, I can take a Grab, I can drive a car, I can take a submarine, I can ride a horse, whatever. Now, there are many means for me to go to that airport, to go to the airport before 11 o'clock. So all these things, whatever choice I choose, that is there's a whatever resource I choose, there's always attached whatever the cost or whatever it takes to do that. So now, if someone achieved the objective effectively, meaning he can be arrived before 11, but at the same time he may be just a tumpang, a free ride from whatever, then he don't cost any single money whatsoever. So in this case, maybe I would say he have done the thing effectively and efficiently. Okay, again, I will come to that later in my presentation. And also execution is very important. I call it 3 lines. Remember, 3 lines. The first one is called top line, meaning the objective. Just like any business, you must have a sales or market, whatever your revenue. That's called top line. Okay, yeah. And then the other one is the bottom line, meaning the result, the end result. So first thing is you need to know what you want to do. Secondly is you have to get what you want to get. Okay, this is called top line and bottom line. But more importantly is oftenly that it get neglected is called timeline. Okay, that's a keyword. I just now use the word effectiveness. If you use back just now the example, if you go to the Penang Airport just now, the instruction is by 11. Let's say you arrive there 11 and 10. Okay, you 10 minutes late. So as far as effectiveness is concerned, you are not 100% effective already, regardless how efficient you are. Okay, so this is called timeline. Timeline in execution is extremely important. Yeah. So the last one, which is also not many people mention, I call it an adversity quotient, or in short, we call it AQ. I believe you have heard much about IQ, intelligent quotient. I believe you heard much about EQ, emotion quotient. Okay, IQ simply put is the smartness, how smart you are. That if a higher IQ, meaning the same thing, even though you are the first timer, people teach you, then you can master the skill much faster than the others. Okay, let's say something like you can master it within 2 hours. The other people maybe have to master it within 4 hours. So a little bit IQ is a reflective of that kind of a smartness. So this is called IQ. Okay, the ability to learn things fast or not. Now EQ definitely something to do with emotion, how you control emotion, your temperament, whatsoever. I think that one you know, but not many people talk about AQ. AQ actually adversity, meaning it is the high tolerance to a stressful work pressure. Meaning at this juncture, we all know all job today is so unpredictable, so dynamic. Yeah. So that is, as I say, instruction or whatever a directive will just change very fast because of the changing environment. So in that regard, he naturally he may create some kind of a work pressure. So you are exposed to that kind of work pressure and stress. Now it depends on you how high is your AQ to deal with that kind of a situation. Yeah, you may be very smart, but you may be very vulnerable. But you just, you can't withstand any pressure. You may just choose to avoid yourself from that. Either you go away from that situation. Example, you resign from that, or you just let it be, or whatsoever. Okay, that is a measure. That is a way to measure there's certain dimension to measure how good or how well is your EQ. So this is basically a 4 important traits which I selected in my own opinion as a KEF. Now, the other one is a dominant influence, meaning you have to, as I said, no man is an island. Yeah, you cannot do alone. There's no way you can do it. Today is all we talk about a collaboration. Yeah, a collaborative effort. Yeah, so meaning you have to influence someone to go in line with you in order for you to achieve whatever the set objective. So first thing, you can't run away from having some kind of a leadership, not only just a manager, not only just a management skill. Management skill is something like you execute it according to the way that it's supposed to be. Leadership actually is a little bit more artistic. You know, it is you have to influence people. So there are two things. Over here, I call it a situational and tipping point leadership. I will explain later. Okay, I will give example. Okay, the basically is for you to harmonize the diversity of the teams, the strength, the weaknesses, and the situation, opportunity, and threat in front of you at that particular moment. These are all the reality in front of you. Now, what are you going to do, knowing that you have resources and you know the strength, the weaknesses of your resources and the diversity, and how are you going to harmonize it? That is the skill that you need to have. Okay, and then you exercise your leadership to influence your resources or your group of people to achieve the objective. Now, the other one is a good interpersonal relationship. Okay, now you have to be, again, sympathetic and also empathetic. A sympathetic is something like, you know, somebody is suffering or whatever, then you can understand his sorrow or his pain or whatever. Okay, this is called sympathy. Yeah. What is empathy? Empathy is as if that thing happened to you and you are now feeling it. Okay. Then I think you have a stronger feeling that, you know, compared to sympathy. Sympathy is just you just try to understand and you feel it. But this is something like as if you are feeling, and also to seek to understand, meaning to be more attentive in listening to understand why people have a different opinion and why whatever your instruction to that person may not follow or strictly follow completely. There must be a reason behind that. So this is something that as a skill that a good person looking for a better positioning of himself to look for. Okay, of course, this is something where I understand that earn respect, because at the end of the day, when you want to get promotion, you have to be supported by your peer, and you have all of them are convinced with no question that you deserve that promotion. That is important. But how to make that you will earn respect is earned, is not given. We all know, right? How do you earn the respect? Then you have to show. Okay, you have to be perceived. You have to be felt. Okay, so meaning whatever you do, people watching you. Yeah, so you have to walk the talk. Walk what talk? Talk. We talk about at least at whatever level you are, you understand your level, you understand your scope of work, you understand your limit of responsibility or whatsoever, and you also understand the corporate culture, and you also understand the corporate value that in advocating. So you demonstrate whatever your thing in accordance with this corporate culture and value. This is what we call walk the talk. By doing so, automatically, okay, people are watching you. Then over time, you will earn the respect. The moment you earn the respect, they will automatically accept you if you are their leader. Okay, so this is very important. All these are one step along the path to go upward. Yeah, and now I cannot emphasize more the importance of a precise and concise communication skill. Now, communication is definitely very, 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 very important. Yeah, you may not need to be again like a professor or like a celebrity or whatsoever, or you know. But more importantly, whatever you talk must be precise and concise and get to the point, and you have to be reasonably articulative with clarity. Yeah. sometimes, as I said, whenever we face a problem, okay, then we learn that we need to express the problem statement well. Why people want to emphasize on that? Because, as I said, if you can define the problem or the problem statement very well, you got half the solution, half the problem solved. Meaning you understand the essence and the nature and the root cause, a deep level of the problem rather than a superficial. Okay, so this is important. The preciseness and conciseness is important. Okay, now let me go one by one. Okay, let me see. Where are we now? What time is now? Let's see. Oh, okay. So this is my definition. I may not define it well, but basically the essence, the key point that which I try to consolidate. What is competency? Is having the knowledge and qualification and ability to handle the job competently and independently. Okay, that's something to do with your knowledge base and your qualification. That's ability. You're already equipped with that ability, but then necessarily that you can deliver the end result. So another factor coming called deliverability, meaning this ability to deliver the entrusted deliverable, meaning the outcome successfully by meeting or exceeding expectation. Okay, these two combined, it is something like it's an employee or the manager or the director or whatever, or value employee that the company is sought after. Okay, now, so a simple definition of key executive execution factor is ability to enable job get done effectively, efficiently, and timely. Okay, as what just now I explained. Okay, now, sometimes we all feel that we somehow or rather, we are not fit for the job. Some may have that kind of feeling, and you feel that not fit for a job is not your fault, because it somehow or rather is a mismatch. Okay, that is really very painful, I would say. So same thing, for a person to be effectively execute the assignment, okay, you have to do a matchmaking and a coupling between the mission or the nature of the task and also the personal strength and weaknesses. I mean, especially the character. Now, in a simply put, okay, we call it a personal competence and quality attributes and trait. Now, I just simply put it as an analogy into three parts. I call it brain, heart, and muscle. Okay, that's what we are biologically we are built from. Yeah. What is brain? Whatever inside your brain, your intellectual, your aptitude, your talent, your competence, your skill, your smartness, your domain knowledge, blah 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 blah. Whatever inside your brain is your competence. Okay, of course, everyone is different. The other one is the heart. Okay, this is the brain. You may be very brainy, but now talk about the heart aspect. Okay, you are very self-centered versus you are very altruistic. You have a high EQ, high IQ, high EQ, AQ, whatever Q, and also you are very positive-minded. You are very positive paradigm, blah blah blah. So you always like to help people. You always genuinely interest in other people's interest whatsoever. All these are something to do with heart, like the sympathy, empathy, and this. Now, let me mind you. Okay, we are made up of different combination. Okay, of course, there's no such thing as 100% brainy, 100% a very good heart. No such thing. We are a mixture of everything. Yeah. So in different proportion. So in order to have can execute well, I think you should have a very balance in brain. You don't need to be all the time 100 mark in certain subject, but 0 mark on the other subject. That is skill. That is actually asymmetrical. Yeah. You need to be balanced. Okay, the last one is muscle. Muscle actually just as a analogy, meaning you have to be really endurance, you tahan mati, you have to be skillful, you have to hardworking. If your working day is 24.1 hours per day, then it's 24.1 hours a day. something like that. If the situation requires you to be 24.1 hours per day. So this is again, when you have all these things, then if it's a very balanced mode, then actually you are well positioned to be a good executor and trusted executor and also a competent executor. Okay. Now, the nature of job, of course, you may be assigned at different time, a different assignment. Now, each assignment is all different. Okay, they have a different complexity, they have different difficulty, they have different importance and urgency. Some of them are more strategic, some of them are more tactical, some are long-term, short-term, and also some are very in the sense that severity, should you fail to deliver the effectiveness, then the consequential impact can be very catastrophic, can be very serious, whatever. So all kind of repercussion, implications. So now, when whoever your supervisor to entrust you with certain tasks, definitely I believe he will tell you, okay, or preempt you that, hey, friend, make sure you get it done. If not, you will have this kind of consequences, whatever. Now, of course, your boss, you are not the only employee, you are not the only subordinate to your boss. So the reason why he passed that assignment to you is he already matched that he believed you have the competency, he believed that you have the track record of deliverability that he can entrust you for that assignment. Now, if the boss assign you something which is beyond your competence, beyond your whatever, I think it's not your fault, to be honest. Okay, then you have to screw your boss rather than whatever. Okay, so that's important that in a key execution that I think whoever want to assign, just like you want to assign your subordinate for a task because you delegate the job to that, then the reason you choose, you must understand the nature of the outcome, the consequence before you choose the person. And when you choose the person, you look at the profile of the brain, heart, and muscle. Yeah. Okay, here is what I summarized, and we are all born with 8 kinds of the smartness or smart, 8 kind of intelligence. Okay, of course, it's not only these 8, but basically you can lump it into these 8. Yeah, one is your intrapersonal character or intrapersonal, meaning within you, and the other one is you and others, interpersonal. And then also some of you are very visual smart, meaning very artistic. You can whatever the picture or 3-dimensional thing or something which is whatever, you have a better sense to get it. That's what we call visual. Yeah, and you are a thinker, or you are good in mathematics, or you are good in linguistic. You have a biggest strength on the musical or kinetic, So these are actually the 8 kind of a smartest within us. Of course, we may be having a high score here, higher medium score here, low score here, whatever. This is what we call the profile. So first thing first, as a person, you need to simply do a simple profile of yourself, which are your, maybe you're very good in your self-discipline, the intrapersonal thing that you, self-development, you are self-driver, okay? And then the other one is, or maybe you say that I'm a very extrovert, I'm a diplomatic, so interpersonal relationship is one of my strong points whatsoever. So when you make up your profile, roughly you know this is what you are, and then you know that with that kind of profile, what kind of a nature of job which you can be more competent and more able to deliver. I think that is important. This is something not quite sure how many of you have really do that. Now, if you don't do that, meaning you don't even know what are the profile of your in this kind of a smart, then you will be very, I would say, vulnerable or subjective. If your boss give you some kind of a job which is totally mismatched with your profile, then the chances for you to fail is much higher than to succeed. That is easy to understand. Okay. On the other hand, if you know your profile very well, okay, then you can even proactively or actively go and look for something that you can request, or you intelligently or creatively get some assignment which you believe that you can shine. Okay, that is again, uh, is a very individualistic. You ask me. Okay. Now here I come to the mentality and personality inclination of a workforce. Okay. Now first thing I talk about personality. Again, after when you know who you are in this profile, then basically you have a choice. You want to continue to strengthen the area which is you're already strong, or you want to spend time to strengthen those areas which you believe is weak and you would like to be stronger. So it's all up to you. It's all up to you. But the moment you do it, then you also need to check again what types of personality you are. Actually, basically, there's only 4 types of personality. I mean, this is my own interpretation. Now, I use again analogy called explorer. Explorer. The moment you hear an explorer, you know that this kind of a personality or character is they are very curious, they are very adventurous, they look out for the new thing. So all these things actually is a characteristic or the profile of being an explorer. So if you have that kind of a characteristic of personality, meaning you are more explorer inclined type of a person, or you are artist. When you mention an artist, you know that it's very creative and very artistic, and create a new thing, meaning he always creates something. Yeah, this is called artist. Yeah. Yeah. So now the other one is a judge kind of person. I mean, as you know, judge are usually the moment you mention judge, you were thinking of the person is usually very cautious, very prudent, and always evaluate based on justification and other thing. Yeah. So so this is important. And the other one is a warrior. The warrior. Okay, you give me a minute. My grandson is making noise. Jing ah, Jing, please lah. Sorry. Okay. Warrior is again is a warrior. Is never say die, determine, act, execute anything. So these are the 4 types of personality or character you are more inclined to. Now, when you are more inclined to judge, meaning you have to find a job whereby, because you don't like, example, which is just example, something that you have to exercise a lot of prudence, justification. You're very detailed, meticulous, and all these things. So, if this nature of job maybe suit you. The other one is something like you always like to, explore new thing. Yeah, you find out new thing. The failure rate is very high, but you like to do it. Entrepreneur, you want to be R&D thing, a lot. So all these things, that will fit the different personality. Yeah, that again, you have to match it. Sorry, you have to match it with your profile. Now, in an organization, you are one of them. Basically, in a whole company, we try to categorize people, regardless what level they are, into 3 types of mentality. I use it, lack of better words, I use mentality. Okay, the one is called pioneer. The other extreme is called settler. Settler is something like just get by, something like just do the working as normal inside their comfort zone. I think majority of all the workforce people are just they are not trying to be funny, but just say just do enough to survive, because settler. Then pioneer is something actually always making the lead and act optimistically, positive-minded, and whatever there's a company have a new implementation or new policy or whatsoever, then definitely they will be the one who go up front, and support it. Okay, this is a pioneer. Then whatever in between is it's a kind of a migrator, meaning depends on whether he will be moving in this direction or he will be moving in this direction. Okay, so these are three things. Now, in an organization, you have to understand who you are. You are more like happy with what currently you are working, the environment, the job, whatever, and kind of a no stress, not stressful whatsoever, and you're happy with that. Then let me remind you, if this is what you think, it is what you think, then forget about career advancement, forget about career progression. You just be happy with what you are. I mean, to be fair, okay, to be fair. But on the other hand, you say, no, I'm actually want to moving upward. I give myself another 2 years, 3 years to look at whoever my supervisor, I want to be in this position. Okay, so in that regard, I think definitely you have to be a pioneer mindset, meaning you really understand what the company is moving, what are the new thing company continues to improve, to introduce, and then you are always very aggressively and positively to support them. So you have to play the role, and by doing so, you'll be seen. Again, you'll be seen, and then you will earn the respect. Yeah. Now, of course, I think is you have to be now today. We in the past, I think either in the leadership or in the management, there are two segments. Okay, one is a leader, and the other one is a manager. Okay. Now the expectation a little bit different. Now today we are in a very advanced, technologically advanced working environment. So last time we have to rely a lot of human dependency. We think at the moment we really not relying so much already. But on the other hand, because of the advancement of the technology, the modern machine, the new expectation, and all these things, the nature of problem will be getting more and more in a different, very diversified. So every day, let's say in a manufacturing, you can't run away from all types of problem generated by what we call 4M: the man, the machine, the material, and the method. Yeah, and the system and whatever. So they are at any one time they are interventing each other. So you inevitably sure they have problem here and there. So when the problem occurs, you on one hand we know that we can't prevent, inevitably we can't prevent problem from happening. Okay, but that's a way that of course we can reduce them for sure as a continuous improvement. At the same time, when problem you need someone that can solve the problem ASAP, so that there won't be a long tail. Okay, there won't be a long tail. It won't be a pile up of the problem. So in that regard, you need an effective and efficient problem solver. Okay, that again is depend on that person. Now, sometimes people may have a misconception that only the very smart guy know how to solve problem. Actually, it's not. Solving problem is a skill. Okay, so long as you have a general, you have an average IQ, you are just, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to solve problem. It's a matter of you have the hands-on, you have to expose it so that you can think harder, then to solve the problem. Now, if you can be perceived as a good problem solver, whenever different types of problem in front of you, and that, and of course, together you have to be creative to be a smart creator. To be a good problem solver, one of the things I would like to use as an analogy is a detective. Just like during my time, I like to read the storybook like all the detective called Sherlock Holmes. Okay, he's a very famous detective. Yeah, he's just a normal person. Yeah, but just like a special a special detective is whenever, let's say you go to some a murder, somebody get murdered. Okay, together with him there are other inspector, but he's the only one at the end of the day can find out who is the murderer. Then the rest can be a whole kind of suspect 10%, 3%, 4%. At the end of the day, they don't know who is the real murderer, except the one who can have all the thing. Then you can find out who is the real murderer. So you have to be very, very, you have to look beyond, and you understand all the devil hides in the very subtly in the detail, and the logic with the hindsight. Sometimes on the surface it look logical or it look illogical, but in behind that actually is logical. Yeah, and you can see, you can explore, you can see through the blind spot. These are, again, I use a detective-like analytical person now to be something like, again, is something valuable. Like especially in our organization, we like people to really, whenever there's something, the time he can see beyond the surface. He can see beyond the surface. Yeah. Now you may say, are we over expecting or over demanding? Like we want the best of the world people to work for us? No, actually, to be honest with you, okay, if you really think harder, harder to ask the nature of the problem, you can see something beyond what the normal people can see. It is a matter of a determination. It's a matter of the willingness, the will to solve the problem, rather than rely on whether you are born smart or not. It's not. It's totally not. Yeah. Okay, come to problem solving approaches. These are the 5 which I think is important. This is my personal opinion again. One is a very old school of thought. We call it Kepner-Trigo, okay, or KT. It's a very systematic way to solve problem called SAPA-DAPA, okay? Stand for situation appraisal, problem analysis, decision analysis, and potential problem analysis. Yeah. So these are the 4 tools in this school of thought to teach you how systematically you categorize a problem in a very systematic way, and then look at it and go through a logical manner to find out what go wrong, what went wrong, something like that. Yeah. So this is one. Of course, you can go and study it. Look at Google and study it. And you may often heard about think inside the box and outside the box. Okay, many people favor outside the box. Okay, you have to always, you have to find way to think out of box whatsoever. It sounds very very sound very good, very impressive. Okay, but in actual, my personal opinion, my advice is you should, whenever you face problem or face problem, you look inside the box first. Meaning, of course, if you ask me 100%, meaning 80% inside the box, 20% outside the box. And the sequence have to be inside the box first. Because actually, thing inside the box is you already have all the thing there. Something went wrong doesn't mean is whatever the existing thing not good enough. It is for whatever reason it either misaligned or out of balance or whatsoever. Okay, so you should think harder to see what went wrong in the existing status quo, and then you figure it out, and then I would say the chances of you will find a solution. Okay, then you don't need to really worry about have to think out of the box. Yeah. So this is one thing. Now, when all these are done, said and done, and then somehow or other the result does not really prove favorable, then you should abandon. Then you don't look back. Then you think out about. What do you mean think out about? Meaning you break through, you throw away, you actually revolutionize whatever you have. Okay, you break the box, and then that's the reason why you say you have to out of the box. You're not in the box anymore. Okay, but I would say before you really don't jump into everything out of the box first. You should go into inside the box first until you get exhausted. Then you go out of the box. Okay, now this one is Edward De Mono, is a guru of creativity. I believe some of you have heard about his name. A person that I'm very highly respected. Okay, he's the one who coined the word called lateral thinking, meaning he's still a logic. Logic is always a logic. Okay, there's a hard logic and a water logic. Water logic, it means something like if you cannot, example, you go to a road, then there's a big stone in front of you, you cannot pass through. Okay, logically it's very simple. You just remove the rock, then you can pass through. That's a rock logic. It's very natural, very intuitive. Okay, but the other one is, what if there's no way you can remove the rock? Then what are you going to do? You just wait until the help come to remove the rock, or you have to find way, maybe to find other ways, see whether you can circumvent the whole thing and then make a detour and then get by to the rock. So these are all, I think he's advocating on the problem solving using a rock logic and a water logic. And as a middle manager or even a manager or even an engineer, whatever, the very important skill is you must learn how to ask smart question, ASQ, or a question behind question. Okay, asking question is an art. If you don't ask the question right as an inductive type, meaning the question should, whatever the answer the first question should be lead to the second question, and the second answer should be lead to the third question, and then it's kind of a funnel. Then you can narrow down. Now this is a skill. This is a skill. Okay, if you ask the right question, you have asked a smart question, around the right question. You ask a smart question, I think definitely you can narrow down and you can see the root cause of the problem more vividly than others. Okay, and also when you set up a question, it's a question behind the question, meaning you set up this question, actually you anticipate some kind of answer. From that answer you anticipate, then you come up with another question, something like this. Okay, so these are the skills that you need to learn. Now, the last one is I want to use the word uncommon common sense. Actually, honestly, I'm writing a book called Uncommon Common Sense. Common sense is something we understand. Common sense means common sense. Every one of us think alike, meaning it's a common sense. That's, but within or among this common sense, there's something you have to think it uncommonly. Okay, don't think as if everybody think. If you think you are exercising your common sense, but not apply in the same way as other people apply. That's very important. So you apply it uncommonly. Okay, yeah. I will come to that later on. Like, don't miss the forest for the tree. Okay, and this is one of a very good concept that you see the forest and you see the tree, or you just see the tree but you not see the forest, or you just see the forest and not see the tree. So all this is a different thing. Just now I talk about MacGyver. Okay, this is as I mentioned, in any difficult situation, the guy always have a very smart idea to improvise or inventive way to make use of whatever item they have on hand to take care of that emergency. Yeah. Okay, this is what just now I mentioned, the AQ. Okay, so they are, again, you can read the book or you can check on Google. There are 4 dimensions. They call control, CORE, core. Control means when you are caught in the difficult situation, this is up to you. Okay, this is up to you. In the eye of a beholder, in the mind of a beholder, what do you think? Are you being controlled or you want to take control? Or when you say you already think that you are being controlled, meaning you already give up, meaning you will let it be, then you let whatever it may be already. So you are totally leave it to the destiny. But some more actively say he believed that he can. Yes, he caught into this period of difficulty. Okay, this situation, but he believed that he can overcome it. At least mentality-wise, he believed he can overcome it. So this is what we call control. It's one measurement. The other one is whenever there's a problem happen, it's always you can relate it. What is the origin of this? What is the cause? What is the source of this problem? And who's supposed to own this problem? Okay. Now this one, okay, is to like, are you supposed to own this problem, or this problem is you just so happen is happen in front of you, but actually you are not the one who caused this problem to happen. Okay, and whether now you think whether now since it is in front of you, whether you are been assigned to handle it or what, all these things will make you think differently. And the rich mean the pressure, the stress, because you are exposed in this, you are in this situation, so definitely you are stressful. Okay, now you want to let this stress or this pressure outside your office, you bring it back to home, or outside your body, you want to proliferate it to other person, whatever this is depends how you can contain it. This is a dimension of rich. and the other one is endurance, meaning your tahan mati, how much you can tahan mati. Okay. Now I use three phrases. Is tough time never lasts. Actually, as I said, a high AQ person always believe tough time don't last. Tough people do. Yeah. Yeah. And when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Yeah. And the other one is if it is to be, meaning if I'm exposed to this situation now, the problem is run on me. It is really up to me to handle it, or I got two choice. One is I have to face it and face the music and suffer the pain and get it through and hope with the hope that I can solve it. The other one is I just let it be. I don't care. The other one is I jump away. I avoid it. To jump away from the situation, meaning jump away from the situation. You have three choices. There's no you ask me, the person who make a progression, the person that who want to continue to challenge himself is the one that he would choose to face the situation rather than run away from the situation. Okay, I think I have I overrun my time. Now it's what?
Shall we take a break for before your
Yeah, I think I think we
session?
take a break. Now it's time.
Okay,
So
we should
I
take.
think I covered the KEF. I think
yeah.
I covered this. So maybe the second session I cover this four will do. Okay.
Okay, no problem, Mr. Tan. We'll take a 5 minutes break and then we'll back.
All right.
9:40 we'll do. Okay.
All right.
So
It's a good
just
time
for
for
a
me
while.
to
Yes,
to
to have
ask
a
my
seat.
grandson to go
Yeah.
away. Keep disturbing me.
Okay, we'll back
Sorry.
in 5 minutes. Okay. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the first session from Mr. C.K. Tan. We'll take a break for 5 minutes and then we'll come back at 9:40. We'll be on our second
Okay.
topic,
Okay.
the essence
Wow,
of
I'm on the dot.
principle,
Okay, good.
yeah, and the DIF. Thank you, Mr. Tan, for the first session. We'll
Sure,
be
sure,
back
sure,
at
sure,
9:40.
sure. My pleasure. Okay.
Okay. For the organizing committee, maybe Cik Rafiza, do you have anything to interject here? Maybe any forms whatsoever that you need to put up? We also have Pengarah ACMO. Thank you, Prof. Zainovia, for being one of our participants. Thank you very much. We're so indebted your presence here. Okay, thank you, Cik Rafiza. She will share the attendance list or the form with all the participants, especially those from USN. Okay, we have the form already on the chat box. So please fill up your information so we can make use of that information for maybe CPD points whatsoever. Okay, thank you, Mr. Tai, I would like to allow you for the second topic of the second item, the essence of Peter principle, KEF and DIF. Please, Mr. Tan.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, let me continue on the other four traits, which is under the dominant influence factor, DIF. Again, as I said, the keyword here is influence, meaning you have to influence people by exercising two, your managerialship and also your leadership. Okay, so the first one is called situational and tipping point leaders. So meaning the keyword here is to harmonize the diversity of the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunity and threat of the situation and also of your team that you're working with. Yeah. So let me jump to the next slide first. So this is a very classical leadership style. We call it a situational leadership. So that was easily 40 years ago. Until today, is still practical because there are only two things. One is again you can check with Google situation leadership. So there are two dimensions. One is called directive. There are two styles. One is the directive. The other one is a supportive. What is that? Just imagine if you are at your level of, I assume you have a subordinate, then you have been chartered to do something by your boss, and of course you want to go through together with your people, to your subordinate and your team member to achieve it. So now you are the leader because you're entrusted. So you have a two style. One looking at the different profile of your subordinate or your team member. You can be directive or you can be supportive or you can be both. Okay, what does that mean? Directive means you have to make sure that you have to pass a very clear instruction and follow up very clearly. To make sure that whatever, and just as you have to make a closely monitor or surveillance and continue to give him a good directive, good guidance to move forward. This is a directive style. Supportive style is more on now you delegate something to your subordinate, but definitely he need resources to support him as well. So you are in a position to allocate those resources to support him. So, but you need to give him a lot of instruction because you already know that he know what to do. Yeah. So you just leave it alone. So basically, there's a two, directive and supportive style. Of course, is as a different person, because the different person have a different profile. Then you have to, you being his leader, you definitely need to understand what kind of a style are suitable for that particular person. Okay, so there are four combinations. Okay, let's look at something easier to understand first. Okay, high directive and high supportive. Okay, okay, let me go to the other way around. Something easy to understand one. Let's say you have a very competent subordinate, very capable, already experienced. So this what then he know what to how to get his support, and then he know how to go about it. So this, if this person is belong to that, then what you need to do is you just exercising your delegating style. You just delegate to him, count him already. No need to worry so much. Okay. So now the other uh, extreme is a high directive and a high supportive, meaning that that person maybe is just a greenhorn, green is a newcomer, okay, still not accustomed yet, so meaning you have to continue to have to give him good directive, coaching him, you have to do this, watch out this, whatever, and you just like something like babysitting him. At the same time, you have to make sure that you give him good support. So these are the people. If you have a subordinate like this and you assign him something, then and you believe that you have the active leadership style, then you have to go for this. We call it situation leadership 2, S2, or called coaching. Now the other two is like example, because supporting means you have a subordinate whereby is a very experienced. You no need to teach him what to do. You don't need to tell him what to do. He know what to do, but he needs support. So you have to give him a high support. Let's say he needs resources, he need money, he need tool, he need whatever. So this is then you are supporting. You have to apply the supporting leadership style to this person. Now the other one is a high directive and low supportive. Okay, high directive, low supportive is something like, again, you have to keep telling him what to do, but maybe it's more on an individual job. So you don't need to support him that much. You don't need to worry about how to figure out how to get a good support for him, because he's more on an individual type of a job, something like this. Yeah. Okay, tipping point leadership is something worthwhile for you to understand. Now, let's say you are the manager of a department manager, then you have certain KPI, key performance indicator to meet, and definitely then there's a new directive from your boss to achieve for your department, and on either quarterly or half yearly or whatever. So definitely the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that all this KPI is well understood and well calibrated with your people, with your group of people. Let's say example, usually a department manager, they have to take, like in our company, a department manager have to take care of at least 300 to 400 people in his organization. Okay, so of course there are different layer of staff. Yeah. So typically, in order for you to calibrate, to do a calibration of all these important KPI, there's a few methods. Is you have to go through a communication forum or forum to disseminate all these things. So just imagine in any organization, okay, if you make a distribution chart, you can categorize them into three categories. Simply put, we call it a devil or angel. These two extremes. Okay, what is angel? Just now I mentioned the pioneer, meaning it's a group of people in your organization that's always very positive minded, very supportive, and always willing to adopt new changes. They are born to, I mean, not born again. they are so happen that they are that kind of they are the group. Okay, whatever the number is in terms of percentage, can be 5%, can be 10%. Now, always you look at the other tail, the other extreme. This group is totally the opposite, meaning they are very insubordinate, or they really are very not supportive. Whatever new thing they prefer, not no change is the best thing, is the best change. So this one or behavioral problem whatsoever. So let's call them devil. Okay, maybe make up X%, 3%, 2%, 5% of your population. Then whatever in between, I call it the obedient, meaning they just good enough to perform their job. They neither outstanding or they neither terrible. Okay, something like this. Yeah. So let's say you have organization with such a profile, yeah, and you want to do a communication to all with the new KPI, the new direction, the new challenge whatsoever. Then you can go through, talk to this group, talk to this group, talk to this group. Now that's really a waste of time, and because of you have to do so many talking and communicating. So actually your time has been spread thin. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you may not know what, even though after you talk, whether you may not know whether what is how effective it is. Yeah. So instead of doing so, okay, the tipping point leadership would choose other way, a more intelligent, more smart, a smarter way and a more creative way and a more effective way. Meaning what? Okay, if this is the characteristic as what we just now said, majority only a certain portion belong to what we call angel, and certain portion we classify them as devil, and the rest are obedient. Okay, now I would rather spend, if I were the leader, I would rather spend my resources, my time, uh, high to focus on injury. I will talk to them more and more forceful and whatever, I will, so to motivate them, to motivate this group more and more, to let them become a more role model. Then they may be, they already a good supporter. Now after the motivation, they become even better supporter. Okay, by having this thing and all these obedient people, they are actually watching. So actually, this is how they get influenced, and more obedient people will be influenced and move toward this direction. So meaning you will have more and more angel type of a supporter. The more you have, definitely the higher chance for you to achieve what you want to achieve, your KPI. Okay, that's quite easy to understand. Meaning you spend instead of spend let's say 3 times talking to these 3 group, you spend all this talking just to the time that you plan for to influence this group. Then let this group be performed and be seen, be felt, and automatically pull these people over. Now, how about devil? My suggestion is, since they are deadwood, that's in my personal opinion, fire them. Okay, simple as that. No point to spend time to deal with a deadwood. This is my honest opinion. Okay, you can say anything you want. You may think, oh yeah, this is not right. We should give more time. Again, let me tell what organization whatsoever is a profit center. Okay, we have certain things. We definitely have to comply with all the good practices. Okay, especially on the governance. But that doesn't mean that we have to spend extra time or the resources to deal with the deadwood. If it's been classified as a deadwood, let it be deadwood. Let it be out. Okay, that's my personal opinion. Yeah. Okay, now come to importance of effective communication as a manager, as a leader now. Let me take this opportunity to share with you my personal opinion. Those can climb up on the ladder, which is a career advancement, are those can communicate well or talk well. Okay, they may not talk a proper language, like be Bahasa or English or whatever, but they are able to express themselves very precisely and concisely. Okay, and many top big bosses whatsoever, they may not be that articulative, but they can, even though they use Roja language or whatsoever, but they can express the message clear. That is the whole thing. Communication actually not so much on how beautiful language you can use. That is only a bonus, a plus, but not necessarily the essence. Okay, very important. Okay, at what we believe the XC is the meaning you have to be clear, which is utmost important, and have to be concise rather than long-winded. You have to be very concrete, meaning you must have a facts to substantiate this what you say, and you can use those things to prove to support what you say, and of course you have to be correct, and then coherent. Okay, you have to be fluent. That can flow very very logically, and only the logical thing and if fluent people can catch the message. If you jump here jump there, then a very disorganized manner, no matter how good the vocabulary you can use, people still at the end of the day still karang kabut, don't know what you're talking about. Okay, blah blah. Okay, have to be complete. Must have all this the whatever the message itself, people clear cut, how you start, how you the middle portion, and how you end and summarize it. And of course, you have to show respect, courteous, and also have to be timely. That's very important. The key I want to emphasize more on the concurrency. The concurrency meaning the timely communication. Now, always remember, just like your newspaper, if you read last week's newspaper, regardless that article, how well it get written, if this is the news, okay, it doesn't serve any value to you. If the thing happened because it become a news, and in the next minute, just like today, we have all our smartphone, whatever, anything happen in the world, we know it in the next few seconds or few minutes or few hours. So that kind of a currency important, so that at least thing happened just a minute ago or just an hour ago, rather than 1 month ago or 1 week ago. So currency is very important now, because the more you know it, the longer, the slower you will take action or you will react to that. Then during that time, during that time, definitely you will never know what are the damage that have been done. Okay, so communication, effective communication, we talk about the timeliness or the currency is very important. Concurrency is very important, yeah. Now, this is something, again, it's a kind of a 40 years, 50 years, very old classic principle in organizational behavior or hierarchical organization. We call the PEP principle. This is a book. Okay, I still keep this book. Yeah. He said every employee tends to rise to his level of incompetence. Okay, and this become really, you can find it everywhere. What does that mean? It's always started with a super competent and then raised to the competent and then raised to the incompetent, and then he stopped there. Okay, let me use this chart. This is what I further elaborated from this book. Okay, example, this is a career progression trajectory. Okay, the career path. Yeah. So example, this is your performance, your how your boss rate you in terms of the performance appraisal. Yeah. So example, now you are in a current position, regardless what position it is, called current position, and you are actually perform quite well. Yeah, not outstanding, but quite well. But over time, you are the cell learner, you're the cell driver, so you continue to perform better even in that position. At the end, you've been appraised that you are the high performer in that position. That's the reason why justify you for a promotion to the next level. When you come to the next level, this is the next level or next position, which is higher position, definitely the scope of responsibility, the charter, the accountability and whatever is totally different from this position. Meaning it's an enlarged scope of responsibility, especially responsibility. Meaning you may need to handle more department, you may need to handle more people whatsoever. So the moment you go into this new position, at that juncture, you are just a newcomer to this new position. So if you match whatever your competence against the charter and the scope of work, at that juncture, maybe you are just even though you are a high performer in this level of job, but when you come to this new level, maybe you may be just in this, rated at this. Okay, so this is what we call transition period. The moment you jump over is you are like this. Now, of course, over time, then you are the cell learner, you are the cell motivator, you are the cell progressor. You will definitely pick up whatever needed to fulfill your new expectation or the new charter. So again, you have three outcomes. One is you die because the moment you come here, you cannot cope with the new expectation. Over time, then you become again you become a deadwood, or you just good enough to survive. This is what we call survivor. Or you continue to challenge yourself to pick up and to become a more competent person in this new position. And then over time again, you become a high performer in this new, and then you go into the next position and this thing go on and go on. Meaning the moment you come to this, and then you are here, and then again, you are subject to three. Maybe you are good here, you jump to here, and then over here, you may be a deadwood, you may be a survivor, or you may continue. Depend how you know, yeah. As I said, most of the people maybe after one jump, two jump, then die already. Okay, maybe you can after several jump, you still can continue to jump until the top. Yeah, but of course, as you know, the more you higher you jump, the narrower the path is. So this is now because of, let's say if a guy, just example, doing good and then get promoted to here, and then also do very well, and then here and then promoted to here. The moment you promoted to here, then maybe he will become like this. Okay, he become like this forever. He will stuck here, or he will become totally cannot fulfill the expectation, become a deadwood. So this is what he say. From a super competent people like him, become a incompetent like him. It's the same person. The same person. So this principle, actually, I like it. Actually, I'm writing a book, further elaborate, and I look at today's scenario. It's not much different because this is how human behave. you know, and now in the office, I will at the maybe end of the I will talk a little bit on other thing which is nothing to do with competence, nothing to do with performance. It's something to do with office politics. That's a separate issue. Okay, that actually also can affect the promotion. It's a totally a factor which is a political factor. We call it office political factor, maybe a favoritism or whatsoever. That's a separate issue. This is something there's no rule. No, this is it's not the science of a promotion. So I don't want to talk more. Yeah. So this is what the Peter principle is all about. Yeah. Now this one is my coin word. I call it the man leader. I'll come to that. Okay, we all know what is leader. We all know what's manager, and we all know what is the difference between being a leader and a different and being a manager. Okay, again, simply put, manager is to manage, a leader is to lead. The manager is to listen very carefully. The manager is to do the thing right, meaning whatever thing been written, been instructed, you just follow whatever, and then you just do it rightfully. So to get the job done right. What is leader? Leader is to do the right thing. To do the right thing. To do the right thing, it can be unfavorable, it can be whatever, but in the leader's mind, this is a right thing to do. Let's say even fire people. Fire people, you may say, oh, it's not right to fire people. But as far as it's concerned, it is a right thing to do to fire the person because he will do good for the overall organization, something like that. So for him, whatever he do, that one he believe is do the right thing. Now, manager at least in any organization, okay, we are majority of us are managing, meaning you manage a group of people. Let's say you're given as a manager, you want to fulfill your output, your quality, your cost, your delivery, let's say in the manufacturing, then that is your indicator. Okay, then you have a group of operator, you have a group of engineer, you have a group of technician, planner, blah blah. These are all your resources. You are given that resources to achieve, to make sure that you deliver that kind of a quantity, that kind of quality, that kind of a cost, that kind of a delivery. Okay, so what you need to do is, so long as you make use of your resources and you follow whatever the right SOP, the right way to do things, and now you just do it rightfully, that is your job. That is the manager's job. I mean, strictly speaking. Of course, in the real world, there's no such thing as so strict to that extent. But anyway, this is just by definition. Okay, so by these two extreme, okay, I can use an analogy like as if it's a 4-wheel drive. You are now going inside the forest. Example, just imagine you are driving a 4-wheel drive and you are driving inside the forest. So you go around, so long as there's a way you can pass through, you will move around, whatever. Meaning by moving around, you are seeing all the tree. Whatever tree you want to see, you just move there and stop there and take a look at the tree. So you can really see through whatever you want to see on that particular tree that chosen. Okay? So meaning you are seeing a tree in a very detail. Now, leader is just imagine that they are aeroplane. They fly 3,000 feet above the ground. They look down. Now. They see a whole bunch of tree, but actually they are seeing a forest. So this forest a little bit like a triangular shape or rectangular shape or trapezium shape, whatever shape. And then from there he can see the north side. Actually, there's a sea, and on the south side there's a cliff. On the east side there's something. On the west side there's something. So now, example, if example this guy is a developer, he want to develop some residential area. So he may want to choose. Okay, if this is the case, I better develop the residential area at the south side, because the south side near a lake, very beautiful lake or something like that. Okay, now at that height, he can see the macro view, and he can, based on that macro view, he can set a good direction. He can say, okay, let's choose that place as my residential area development, just like using my example. Okay, rather than the guy say, oh, he moved in the jungle with a 4-wheel drive, and he moved north. but very smooth. Wow, that's the road is very wider and everything. Then I say, okay, I want to develop on the north side, but without knowing that the north side actually is something which is not favorable. Let's say it may be very something not as good as at the south side. So these are the two things. One is seeing the tree, one is seeing the forest. Now there are actually two extremes. Okay, if you are the top leader of the organization, then definitely you have to see big picture more than what you need to see a micro picture. The other way around, if you're the manager, you do not really need to worry about whether how's the market, how's the international market, how's the competitor, how's the technology move, or you don't need to worry so much on that. Okay, what you need to worry is whether how you're going to produce your output, you meet your weekly outcome whatsoever, and make sure that you achieve your KPI. But as a leader, you cannot be that narrow. Narrow vision. You have to think, because whether you are facing with any international challenger, whether the Malaysia economy getting or the competitiveness is getting lower, all these things will affect you in the long term, which you cannot be seen on overnight and cannot be seen on the day-to-day basis. So you have to see a forest. I mean, if you're the leader. So this is what. But for you, at the moment, if you think that you just want to confine yourself to a manager, then how are we going to migrate to leader? So that's a migration path. Okay. Then I use an analogy like helicopter. What is helicopter? Helicopter can pull himself up from the ground, let's say 1,000 feet. Of course, he may not able to fly 3,000 feet, but he fly 1,000 feet. Maybe that 1,000 feet is good enough to let him appreciate the shape of the forest, even though he may not completely see the forest, but at least he know how this forest look like, at least like triangle, rectangular, whatsoever. Yeah. And you say, okay, fine, I want to see more detail. Then he can find a place so long he can get himself landed. Then he landed, and then he can walk to the tree and look at the tree. Meaning he can actually, at the same time, he can see a reasonable extent of the macro view, and also he can see a reasonable extent of micro view. Now, these are the person you ask me. It is a very, very sought after level of cannibal people. So I use a word, I coined this word together. I call it a man leader. Yeah, it's a man leader. It's a kind of he can see both reasonable forest and tree. Okay, so these are the if today's audience, majority of you fall into this category, a manager category, I would say the next step for you is you have to find a way to become a man leader before you become a leader. Okay, that's important. Yeah, if not, that cannot be a step. It have to be a gradient to climb up. Yeah. Okay. Back to this. When you just now I mentioned that a career advancement, which is promotion vertically, and also the career progression, meaning you learn more things at the same level horizontally, meaning you expand horizontally. Okay. By default, you are involved in a healthy competition with your colleague at the same level or your peer, because only one of you or only two of you will be chosen to go up over time. There's no way everybody promote, everybody go to the next level. There's no such thing as this. Okay, so meaning at any one time you'll be monitored by your forget about the office politics, forget about the favoritism first. That is a different thing. Okay, with everything that now you are being well supervised by your superior, your boss, and you have to produce result. You have to produce your KPI. You'll be appraised over time, either yearly or half yearly or whatsoever. Same thing, your colleague or your peer in the same level also will be appraised by the same boss. Okay, so you are in this definition, you are competing to each other in the healthy competition. Okay, as I said, let's talk about everything normal, not backstepping people or applying some kind of a office politics. Forget about that. So normal competition, just like over here, you look at the race on the left hand side here. Okay, just imagine that it's a racing trace, and you have all the racing car. Okay, and so example, you are the red car. Okay, And now at this particular point, you are leading, you are the first. But again, you have been chased after very aggressively by the other. Okay, if the time go and then come to this, you may not know whether you're still taking the lead or not. Maybe you already overtaken by some other. You will never know. Okay, so this is what we call competition. Now, competition actually is a word come from the Olympic. I don't know whether it meaning everything is equal, but you have to do something faster. Let's say you run 100 meter or 200 meter or 400 meter or whatever meter, all will start at the same starting line. Okay, but you have to be faster. Okay, if you do a high jump, again, everybody the same thing. You have to jump from the ground and you cross over the bar, and then you have to jump higher. Okay, and if you are a weightlifter, you have to lift everything the same. You have to lift from the ground, but you have to lift heavier than other people. So you have to be, faster, stronger, and higher. So this is actually the basis of competition by Olympic. So, but all of them is the same thing. They do the same thing. They do the same thing, but have to do better to outdo the competitor, whoever the competitor is. Okay, so this is competition. Now, this is if you understand what is a blue ocean strategy, if you understand what is a red ocean strategy, you know, if everybody try to compete on the same race, it's sometimes very, very bloody and very, very painful. Always you have to be very alert to do. You have to do the same thing but better than others. Okay, so this is now. But if you change your mindset that you want to go into a new mindset of a new path or what we call beyond competition, what does that mean? Okay, same thing. You still a car racing. Okay, but if you can find another path which is not the same path as this one, and then you just race on this path, you race on your own. Whatever, there's no obstacle. Whatever, how fast you can go, you just go. Okay, that's your limit. Okay, because over here you have obstacle because somebody can block you or whatever. But over here there's no obstacle. Whatever you can do, you do up to your limit. So and you travel a less traveled path and choose your own path and become a relatively better, and I'll come to that afterward, relatively better and absolute best. Okay, and also make the competition become irrelevant by creating a new path or new unique value proposition. Now, this is something a winner always think. He will always challenge the status quo. He always will find in the same battlefield, can I do things differently? Can I do things differently can be up to your interpretation. Can I do something that I can catch attention from my boss? Can I do something which I already know the company direction going that way? So I do something proactively to position, to let be felt and seen that I'm actually working proactively in the new direction that the company is going. So meaning there's many ways you can think. Now, it's the point here is if you're not complacent, on what currently you are enjoying, then there's always a challenge for you to think. There's always a new path. That path is hidden at the moment, but it's there. It's there, okay? So why not to amid all these what I call status quo, then you find a new path, then you enjoy your own limit in that path. So this is one strategy. I'm talking about strategy, okay? Now the other one, this is a story. I would share with you the moral. Okay, I think we all know the rabbit and the tortoise race. That's been a very legendary bit-sized story by our grandma. Okay, a conventional wisdom for this is, I think everybody know, at the end of the tortoise win because the rabbit slept halfway. I mean, then the moral, our grandma, our mother told us, okay, please don't be like the rabbit, so arrogant, you to be whatever, you must learn from the tortoise, have to be very persistent, these are all the things, correct? Now, that story is having a very good moral, very motivating. But that story, if you really look at it, that story is based on what? Based on the finish point. Why? Because this story we all know, halfway through, the rabbit so complacent and so Lego, just slept. Yeah, that's the reason why the tortoise never give up and very very perseverant, and finish the part. That's how the whole thing here. But let me ask you, what if now? Just imagine only, you went back to the place whereby the rabbit is talking to the tortoise. Just imagination, you know. And then the rabbit talked to the tortoise, say, "Hey, Mr. Tortoise, let's race and see who win." Now, just imagine as if you are the tortoise, and assuming you are not a stupid, you are not a stupid tortoise. Don't you know that there's no way, because of your structure, the way your body is built, how do you go and race against the rabbit? But question here is, if the tortoise is so stupid, why he agreed to race? That is a question to ask. Okay, now the story, as I said, at that point in time, how did the tortoise know that the rabbit will sleep? The rabbit will sleep halfway. How did he know? He's not God. So, question remain as, why did he agree to race at that point in time when he was asked? Okay, the answer is, the tortoise is at that time, he's not thinking of winning. He's thinking of taking this opportunity to maybe establish or to set a record that how fast and how long that a tortoise can run, to set a record for the tortoise world. This is what we call the sense of purpose. Because at that time, there's no way he could know the rabbit sleep halfway. But he's motivated not by the winning. Winning, it so happened that way. But he was driven by the sense of purpose. Meaning, as a person, you need to try, not just say because of other people or what, or you really need to know what is your limit. That's the reason why you are driven by a sense of purpose. A winner always have a very strong sense of purpose. Okay, it's not been pushed by others or motivated by something. You can say, if a tortoise say no to the rabbit, I think it's smart because it's very logical. Just like if someone using a motorbike and asks you to race on a highway, 100, let's say 1 kilometer away, and you just running on the barefoot, and he racing a motorcycle, will you be that stupid to say yes to him to race it? I mean, if you say no, you're very, but if you say yes, you say, okay, fine, I want to see what is my record. I just want to use the record of myself. Then you're driven by sense of purpose. Now, this is even better, I would say. There are two things that you have to understand. One is called absolutely fastest, absolutely best, or the relatively better. What does that mean? Just imagine this. There are two people in one of the jungle, and somehow they saw a hungry bear chase after them. Now, just for information, a hungry bear, if he's hungry, a bear chase after people, I think he can run faster than the people. Just for your information, okay? So the bear started to chase after them. So of course they are both running. Let's call it A and B. So A run for a while and then stop and then take off the shoes and throw away. And the B said to him, even run with your shoes off, you can't run faster than the hungry bear. But this Mr. A said, no, but I can run faster than you enough already because you'll be caught. Okay, you'll be eaten, and then I already escaped. Something like this. So in the real world, everybody, of course, want to be the best. Just like we expect our children to be the top student in the class, or what, in the class got 50 people. Then who want to be the last? Who want to be the 10? Who want to be the 20? Expectations is one thing, but unrealistically now in the real world, actually, just like imagine you're in an organization in the same peer. Now you're everybody fighting for a promotion, just like you are one of them. Okay, then of course if you can be the best, why not? You're the best, is so obvious you're the best. Okay, but what if it's not too easy to be the best? Because you need to be relatively better than the others. Okay, so this is a very important philosophy. I mean, not philosophy, I would say mindset for you to think that always don't be. You have to be in the top. How to call that? The, the, the top league may not be the best but you have to be relatively better. Okay, I think I would. This is the last point, I believe. Okay, now. So in summary, either you for new graduate you look for job, or for one who look for advancement, promotion, whatsoever, to do better, to accelerate your career path. The first thing first, self awareness. You must know who you are, okay, and the other one is a market awareness. In this case, it's not so much on outside market, meaning your working environment. Let's say on your department, on your company, whatever. How well you know about the potential of your department or your company that you can further growth yourself. Okay, so that is sometimes uh, uh, in, as I say, you will never work for one company for life for sure. Okay, but when you want to leave a company, there must be a reason behind that. It's not for the sake of extra 100 ringgit or 50 ringgit or 200 ringgit. I think that is too simple a reason. Okay, if you leave because of that, you believe that there's not much thing that you could able to pick up to become a more competent person, then you leave. I think that is very justifiable, that's for sure. So you must really understand, spend time, not emotionally biased to say that I want to leave because of I want to get a better pay. I think this is only one of the many reasons. It shouldn't be the reason. Now, the third one, actually very important, the personal branding. The personal branding is something I cannot emphasize more, because you are what you have been seen. You are being, I mean, if but don't be self-deceived that you are good. Okay, you have to be perceived to be good, and recognized to be good, and respected to be good. Then only is good. Okay, so that a lot of our personal brand. That is actually is a very complex thing. That your personality, your attitude, your interpersonal, your AQ, your many. So there are so many compartment of this quality to make up your personal branding. Okay, and then after that, as a continuous learning, you have to be very experienced. Okay, you have to continue to enrich your experience, to enrich your experiential knowledge, in order to be, again, not only just for the company. I tell you today, if you are a highly competent, meaning you are highly marketable and you are highly demandable, meaning you no need to worry about what job you want to look for. Is the job will look for you. Okay, but if you are the deadwood or just a normal social people, I tell you what, you always have a sense of insecurity. You know very well, especially when the age catching up. When you are young, you maybe have less worry about that because you are young. But when time catch up the time, your experiential knowledge is never improved. Okay, never improve in the sense that if the trend of the world is moving that fast, even though you move forward, but you move much slower than it's kind of not coordinated, not synchronized. Actually, you are behind time already, and there's no way you can stop the world from moving. That's the whole world. So you must really understand how to keep your experience relevant. That's a keyword. Irrelevant experience is a rubbish. It's totally no use. Hello? Hello?
Okay, Mr.
Hello?
Tan.
I lost the sound. I don't know where did I
Yes,
drop off.
we lost the connection. Yeah, I just got connected
Now,
back. Mm-hmm.
okay, now I'm back. Okay.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay. I'm done already.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tan. Definitely, we have learned new knowledge uh, from the industry expert, Mr. CK Tan, from his fruitful talk with all the hands-on experience on the key execution factors, KEF, and dominant influence factors, DIF. So for the next 10-15 minutes, I would like to welcome any question to our Mr. Tan, please. Okay, Mr. Tan, we have a question from Belindong on personal branding on the chat box.
Can you read it out?
Yeah, please. I will.
Ah.
Personal branding, are we saying that to build a reputation for ourselves that we are best at what we do, then our reputation precedes us? The audience asks on the personal branding.
Okay, to answer the question, to do the best what you do, meaning you're expressing who you are and what you are good at, that's for sure is one of them. But that's not good enough. When you're good at, but it's the same, you may be good at your knowledge, you may be good at the way you handle things, but you may not good at a personal, interpersonal relationship. Maybe you're too arrogant, maybe you can't get along with people. So when you say you're good at, you must understand whether your goodness, the goodness is being a commonly recognized goodness or not. I mean, it's more rounded type of thing or not. Okay, I've seen many brainy people. They are damn smart, but have a very weird thinking. They are a very weird kind of a personality. They can't get along even the meeting. They are not cooperative because they is so long as not me too, meaning not, we call it NIH, not invented here, not invented here. Then he because he's too arrogant, he's too smart. So when you say to do the best that you could, it is only one part of it. Your good, whatever you good at, must be in line and aligned with the company value and the company expectation. Now, if that's the case, then you're right. Okay, then you by default you are actually building up your personal branding. I hope I answer you. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any next question, please? You can type. Okay, thank you, Nazri. You're enjoying the talk. Okay.
Now, okay, if there's no
The question. We have, I think Nazri is preparing a question now.
okay, good.
Yeah. He's typing it, I believe. Yeah, Nazri, please. Okay, question is, how much do you practice humility as a leader or a manager?
Good question. Humility actually is definitely is the one thing at the moment. Even the world internationally, they are imposing a little bit. I believe you last time you heard about ISO, a standard for the quality. Now they have a IR 4.0 for the modernization of the process. But that's now another one is called ESG, stand for environment, social, and governance. Okay, this is a new initiative or new standard or new expectation by all the international body to be imposed by any organization that they have to adopt the ESG and they will be measured. So our ESG, there are three elements. One is environmental, social, and governance. Now you talk about humanity is more on, as I say, the governance. governance, meaning you have to be fair, you have to practice all the thing, no discrimination, blah, 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 whole bunch of things. So by default, actually, we are practicing it now. Of course, when I say that, just like in a real world, you can always find something which is maybe unfair or biased. Because why? Organization is such a big organization. It may not be the leader have that kind of a bias or unfair practice, but by an individual manager, as I say, as a human, he should have a certain bias. Just like a parent, you may, even you have a children, you may be biased to certain. You are more, you may like more on one or two compared to the other. So we are all human. So in the process of doing, there are certain things which is may be perceived as unfair and whatever. But as far as the company is concerned, as a culture is, the value, the culture is always we have to say respect person. This is always a value. Whether it been practiced, just like a school, there are always a certain people are inobedient. Then we can't help. You can't help. But it's not the direction that is biased. It's not the policy that is biased. Okay. What else?
Thank you, Mr. Tan. We have two questions. I think that will be end of our session. Okay. The third question. That means we have two more questions. What would be the best advice you can give for future graduate student? And then we have one more question.
That's a very big open question. Okay, for sure, you must really know that you are a contributor. Now, you are graduate doesn't mean anything. You are just going through the process of 4 years study. That doesn't mean anything. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can go through 4 years. Okay, so you're just one of any Tom, Dick, and Harry. So after going through this education, you are considered a graduate. You are out from the ivory tower from university. You are entering into a real world, which is cruel and which is fair. Okay, cruel mean you are good, you are not good. You'll be is a rule of jungle. If the fittest survive. Okay, if you totally mismatch with whatever, then don't blame. You have to blame yourself why other can you are not even a Mr. Average. Then you don't. Now, for me to advise a new graduate is for sure you really need to have a understanding like how to evaluate yourself over the X smartness. You are definitely cannot be all good. You are either more introvert or you are more extrovert or whatever. Now, if you are you classify yourself as more introvert, you should find a work. The nature of the work are less dealing with people because you are introvert. Like example, you are more on IT or you are more on the documentation kind of a thing. That match your character. Then you can perform. Now, what if you are the introvert and you go and look for something like a salesman or marketing guy? Then sure die one, sure die, because you are against. This is already a natural inherent mismatch. So all this is important. There's no fixed answer. How do you to a fixed way? No, it's up to you to find out, to match, to do all the matching, and then from there you go and find a job that, especially when you're a graduate, you have to find a job first thing to match with what you have at that particular juncture. Then after that, then you can jump ship, you can jump to others. That's the later part. Okay. So another one is what?
The next one will be, how do we know our own path is the right path in beyond competition?
You will never know. You will never know. Okay. Let me give you this way. When you are in the ivory tower, you will never know. Now, let me take this opportunity to give another analogy. I like to tell story. Okay. This is one of the things I forgot to tell you. As a good leader, you must know how to tell story, because story is easy to understand. Yeah. Now, just assuming you are a rabbit again. Okay. The day you are born, you are inside a zoo. You are born inside the zoo by the, so, and you grow up in the zoo. There's another rabbit. Biologically, they are all the same. They are rabbit biologically, but he's born in the jungle on the first day. So both of them are rabbit, physically, biologically. But if you got a chance to read their mind, I tell you, it's totally different. The one that born inside the zoo will never scared of lions, will never scared of tiger, will never scared of anything, because what he's been well protected by the grill for the whole life. So he don't even know that the lion can come and eat him. He don't even know. But compared to the one that is born inside the jungle, in the first day, somehow or other, through the instinct, through the nature, he already have to be very, very alert because he will be eaten anytime, any day by anybody. So he's always at alert. Compared to this guy, is every day is shake leg, and someone can shake hand with the lion. So this is a two thing. Now, important, as I said, where you are now in the ivory tower. Allow me to say that all the university are in ivory tower. You really do not know how the jungle behave. You come out, you may have a cultural shock, you may whatever. So first thing first, okay, believe that all these all the company or whatever, they are in Malaysia or something good. All the company are good company. They are very well regulated. They are very well governed. We never heard of something. We are a third world. Like we discriminate or whatever. No such thing. But the question to ask is just like US. Ask what you can do for the nation, not the nation do for you. You should ask the first question first. These two questions you must have a sequence. Ask yourself what you can do for the factory. And you are young. What if you spend 3 years or 5 years of your life until the age now? Let's say you are 24 or whatever. You spend 3 years, but by the time when you're 27, you're young like hell. These 3 years you take it as a position yourself, condition yourself for the next step. Okay, so the path you choose is first thing is find a job that again is something like the moment you work, you feel that you can perform. You have a feel that you can perform. As I said, selection of a job is not simply send a resume to a factory and pray sembayang, pray I get hired, and then the moment you go in, but I tell you, then is where the nightmare. I rather send you know where you are and you try to apply those factory or the kind of a job which is definitely you want. You may wait for half year, you may wait for 3 months, whatever. I tell you, by all means, do it. Okay, don't jump into something which is already by itself at the first day is wrong. Yeah. So whatever path is right or not, just as I say just now, it's a long story to talk. There's no fixed answer anyway. So use your instinct and use your intuition. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tan. And this will end our session. I would like to thank you to all attendees. A warm thank you to you, Mr. Tan, on your talk as the advisor for Management Section, School of Distance Education. Definitely, Mr. Tan, we are looking forward to have you in the future talks on broad ideas, especially from your personal experience, your knowledge, your expertise. So, as a part of the committee member, I would like to thank you again. A warm thank you, Mr. Tan, on your presence on tonight's session. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah, I hope all the people can have a good understanding on that and enable them to prepare themselves better, especially those about to come out to find job, or those already in the job but stuck for many years, do not know what to go next. I think it's a time that you have to do your own self reflection. Okay, they say regardless what we always say, you have to help yourself before you ask for others to help you. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, I think I enjoy the talk. Actually, I like to share knowledge. I'm looking forward to working with university through this kind of a platform to share more idea to the graduate. Okay.
Okay, yep. Now we're ready for photo session, Mr. Tan.
Okay.
From the organizing committee.
Okay.
Okay, Chair Officer. Okay, thank you. You can open up your okay, you can switch on all the cameras.
Where is our Dr. Norizan?
Hi, Mr. CK, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
your sharing session.
Thank you. My pleasure. Okay.
Okay, I pass the session back to Cik Rafiza. Okay, thank you, Cik Rafiza.
Okay,
Okay,
smile.
good.
1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. Wait, Okay, one more time. Smile. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, done. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure sharing
Thank you,
with
Mr.
you.
CK.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
Dr.
Have a good night.
Hasmi.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Cik Rafiza.